What is up, guys? I'm Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be taking a much closer look at all 4 of the brand new Iron Banner weapons being introduced into Destiny 2 with Season of the Splicer, examining their stats and their perks to determine their PvE and PvP God Rolls so you guys know which weapons to go after. And so, let's get started. And let's begin here with the 2 weapons returning from year 1 with all new random rolls. And these are both weapons I have access to due to saving old Iron Banner bounties. So that's what you're going to see in the background gameplay. Starting us off, we have the Finite Impactor Legendary Energy Hand Cannon. Taking a look at the stats, this is a 140 adaptive frame archetype. And quite frankly, the stats aren't that amazing. In fact, the palindrome beats this in basically every single category. But this does have 1 more in the recoil department, which is good, the direction, and 1 less in the bounce intensity. But this is also a Suros frame weapon, and a lot of people love how those feel. But let's move on now to the perks. Interestingly, we actually don't have barrels this time. Instead, we have sights. So, this matters because the sights are actually going to affect your aim assistance. So with this one right here, the Sure Shot HCS, we get plus 10 range, minus 10 to stability and handling, and then plus 5 to aim assistance. So again, a lot of people love how these feel. Moving on from there, we have a good selection of the second tier perks. An extended barrel perk if you want. High cal rounds is decent. Ricochet rounds is probably what you want, giving you range and stability. Then in the first perk category, we've got some interesting options. So, under pressure, no distractions, and firmly planted, I think those are okay. The really interesting ones I'm looking at is firstly heating up. This is a brand new one. Final blows with this weapon increase accuracy and stability while improving vertical recoil. And the effect from this is pretty darn substantial. Killing wind is going to act in the same way, except it's going to reward weapon range and mobility and handling. And then we end with slide ways, where if you slide, it partially reloads the magazine and boosts handling and stability. In the second category, we do have Eye of the Storm, which can help you win your gunfights. Iron Grip, massively increasing your stability at the cost of reload speed. Then we have Iron Reach, massively increasing your range, which hand cannons really want, at the cost of your stability. Then Multi-Kill Clip, One for All, and lastly, Elemental Capacitor. So in terms of the PvP God Roll, I think you're going for, whatever sight you feel is the most comfortable for you, then Ricochet rounds, and I'm actually thinking heating up combined with Iron Reach. You get that massive range increase from Iron Reach, and then you offset that by simply getting a kill with heating up. But also, if you can handle the recoil, Killing Wind plus Iron Reach could be good. You could go for Killing Wind plus Eye of the Storm. You could go for Heating Up plus Iron Grip for the most stable hand cannon of all time. All of these would be good options. Then for PvE, I actually think you're going for probably a magazine extending perk, and then Slideways combined specifically with One for All. And the reason being is because Multi-Kill Clip is very, very good in PvE, but there's nothing that really increases the reload speed. So instead, you can use Slideways, so you reload by just sliding, and then One for All doesn't require you to reload. So it just lets you combine these two to constantly have ammo, just sliding from enemy to enemy and getting that damage increase from One for All. But it is time to move on from there to the Occluded Finality Legendary Energy Sniper Rifle. Taking a look at the stats here, this belongs to the aggressive frame archetype, so high damage, slowest fire rate, and stats pretty much fall exactly in line with this archetype. Moving on to the perks, we do have a different selection of barrels, and generally you're looking for something like, extended barrel or hammerforged rifling to increase that range as much as possible. Snipers want a lot of range. It's going to help you hit that initial shot. Then in the second category, you have some extended mag perks for PvE, and then you have stuff like high cal, ricochet, maybe even flared magwell, armor piercing rounds for PvP. Generally, ricochet rounds, you can actually get a bounce shot and get a cheeky double kill with that as well. In the first perk category, man, we actually have a lot of good options. So no distractions, where aiming this weapon for a short period reduces flinch, that just got a buff. That's significantly better. Auto-loading holster is one of the best PvE perks because it lets you shoot off your magazine and switch to another weapon to keep up the DPS. Under pressure, it does increase the accuracy. Surplus, Mulligan could actually be not bad, especially for PvP. You take a shot, if you miss, you might get that shot back. And then we have Snapshot Sights. This is an S+ tier perk for sniper rifles. This is definitely something you're going after for PvP. Then, in the second category, Demolitionist is not bad, especially in PvE where you can throw your grenade and get your entire magazine back. Iron Reach, like I said, just boosting the range insanely. Elemental Capacitor is actually a really interesting one. We'll come back to that. Eye of the Storm, Vorpal Weapon, great for PvE. And then Opening Shot, another S+ tier PvP perk. So I think a lot of people for the PvP God Roll are going to go, well, obviously you want Snapshot Sights plus Opening Shot. And yeah, that is going to be an absolute PvP God Roll. But what you could also go for, in my opinion, is Snapshot Sights and Elemental Capacitor. The reason being is because if you're using, I believe, an Arc subclass, you get plus 50 handling. So it's basically like a mini pre-nerfed Quickdraw. Quickdraw doesn't provide that plus 100 handling anymore, so Elemental Capacitor, if you're using the right subclass, is pretty much the closest thing to what Quickdraw used to be. So that could be a very, very desirable roll to get for people out there who miss the OG Quickdraw. But moving on from there, as for a PvE roll, I think you're absolutely going for, firstly, an extended mag perk, so either extended or appended mag, then absolutely auto-loading holster, and then you're ending things off with Vorpal Weapon. Now, generally, this is just going to be okay because you want something like triple tap or fourth times the charm when it comes to this archetype, so you can squeeze a lot more ammo from the limited magazine, but this certainly won't be bad. But moving on from there, we have the two never-before-seen weapons. Firstly, we have the Riiswalker Legendary Kinetic Shotgun, or however you say it. But if we look at the stats, this is actually a lightweight frame weapon, so superb handling, and you're going to move faster with this weapon equipped, 80 rounds per minute, but it's actually a kinetic weapon. There are almost no lightweight frame kinetic shotguns. One example is the Parcel of Stardust way back. It's been sunset forever ago, years ago, so that already makes this thing pretty darn special. And stats-wise, pretty average stats, but I mean, look at that handling, that is fantastic. Then if we go into the perks, so in terms of barrels, we have rifled barrel and full choke being present here. Those are considered the top tier for PvP. Then in terms of the second category, assault mag for an increased rate of fire, good for PvP and PvE actually. We have some extended mag perks for PvE. We do have accurized rounds to increase the range, fantastic for PvP. Then in that first perk category, we have slideways. Generally not as good as slide shot because you want the range for shotguns. We have hipfire grip, which we don't always see on this archetype, which could be good. We do importantly have quickdraw. Even after the nerf, this is going to be a great perk for shotguns in PvP. We do have surplus, which is alright. We have firmly planted, which does actually work with shotguns, increasing the accuracy quite a bit because being crouched counts when you're sliding, so you can slide into someone and activate firmly planted. And then Eye of the Storm, don't think is that good. But in that second perk category, we have Iron Reach. This is a really exciting one. We've never seen this on a shotgun before. Plus 20 range, minus 30 stability. And for PvP, who needs stability, right? Then we've got Killing Wind, which can be great with shotguns, increasing that range. We've got Unrelenting, which just got a buff. Then we've got Vorpal Weapon for PvE, Demolitionist for PvE, and Swashbuckler is not a bad one, especially with shotguns, because you can get to the max damage bonus with a melee, and going shotgun followed up by melee is a really common thing. So, as for the PvP God Roll, I am definitely going for either full choke or rifled barrel, and then either accurized rounds or honestly Assault Mag to increase that rate of fire, combined with probably Quick Draw, but maybe something like Hipfire Grip Firmly Planted if you want to be spicy. But really, it's that Iron Reach in that last slot that you want to go for, that massive increase to range, and that's why I kind of recommended Assault Mag. You may be reaching the literal range cap with Iron Reach, so potentially accurized rounds isn't that necessary, but if you do double them up, whew, you're going to be mapping people. But Killing Wind and Swashbuckler would frankly be good as well. Now, as for PvE, you're definitely going for either Assault Mag or an Extended Mag perk, and then you're probably just going for either Slideways to reload your magazine, or Surplus because that actually does increase your reload speed as well. A lot of people forget that. And then you're definitely combining it with Vorpal Weapon, Demolitionist, or maybe Swashbuckler, or maybe Unrelenting if you want a weapon capable of healing you. But moving on from there, the last weapon on our list is the Archon's Thunder Legendary Power Machine Gun. Taking a look at the stats here, this belongs to the High Impact Frame 360 rounds per minute archetype. And the stats are pretty average, but the stability is honestly not great for this archetype. Then, if we go on to the perks, honestly, firstly, you probably want a barrel that's going to give you some of that stability back because you already have a very excellent range. Then in that second category, again, steady rounds would honestly be not that bad for PvP, likely an Extended Mag perk for PvE. In that first perk slot, we have Mulligan, Field Prep is actually going to be not bad just for PvE in general, being able to have so much more ammo. Rangefinder for PvP potentially. Quick Draw is just okay in my opinion. Killing Wind for PvP is not bad. And Surplus for, again, that stability increase could be decent as well. In the second category, we do have Elemental Capacitor. We have Thresh to get your super back. We have Snapshot Sights, Rampage, an old classic, and then we have two Iron Banner perks, Iron Gaze to increase the aim assistance and destroy the range, and then Iron Grip to massively increase the stability at the cost of reload speed. Now, as for a PvP God Roll, I think you're going for something like Small Bore that's not going to hurt your stability and in fact increase it, combining that with maybe steady rounds, but hey, accurized rounds if you can handle that recoil, and then probably Rangefinder or potentially Killing Wind to just reach out and touch people with this weapon, and then lastly, you could potentially end it with Iron Grip just to give you that stability back and go full auto and hit more shots than people are expecting. Now, as for a PvE God Roll, I think you're absolutely going for an Extended Mag perk, and then you're combining that with really Field Prep, I feel like is the strongest PvE perk in this slot, just giving you so much more ammo and a massive increase to your reload speed if you're crouched. A lot of people forget that. And then probably you're combining that with either Rampage for just higher damage when you're chaining between enemies, great for ad clear, or honestly Thresh. Like, getting that much ammo with Field Prep combined with Thresh, you can basically use this as a primary weapon and it's just going to get you a lot more supers a lot more often. And so guys, that is it for all of the brand new Iron Banner weapons. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.